Welcome back to More Than a Sunday. I am so thankful that you're joining us today. Discover the depth of faith beyond the pews. That's what we like to say here at More Than a Sunday. This is season 4, episode 2, and today we're talking all about Easter behind the scenes. I'm joined by my friends Scott and Ann. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
This is going to be an awesome conversation.
Thanks for having us, Scott and Ann. We're Scan.
Scan.
I just wrote that
coming on More
just
Than a
now.
Sunday. So Easter at Faith Church. So the three of us are on staff at Faith Church. We are a multi-site church that looks a little bit different than other multi-site churches in America. All 5 of our locations have their own worship leader, their own staff, their own campus pastor that teaches kind of a similar message to other campus pastors, but they contextualize it to their own congregation. So the messages are not identical every single week, but they follow the same passages and themes for the most part. So Easter is a really big deal for us because it is by far historically the highest attended services of the entire year.
Yeah.
Right before Christmas and
Yep.
Mother's Day and holidays like that. But
Sure.
Easter is a time when people are coming to church.
Yep.
Which
They
Sweet.
means it's
They
important
did.
for us.
Yep.
They did.
They did.
So
Yes.
we are just a few weeks post-Easter. Congratulations. You made it through it. You can take a deep breath. That was
Yes,
nice.
we did it.
Yeah, so we're going to talk all about wins, struggles, how this year was a little bit different than previous years. I'm excited. You guys ready to jump right into it?
Let's go.
Yes.
Let's do it. All right. How early does planning for Easter begin? When do you start, Scott? Is that like the day before?
After Easter the previous year. No, just kidding. That's a little too soon. Actually, it's true this time, but I'll tell you about that later maybe. But I would say beginning of the new year. Once I get to about the middle of January, I'm probably already thinking about it. I'm already thinking about the band.
Okay.
What is the date? Have it on the calendar. That's what you're talking about. Like technically, it's a little bit of planning. It may not be in depth, but I've already identified Easter. I want my A team on Easter,
It's
so
in
to
your
speak. The
mind.
band's I've already put it in planning center. I've already thrown some song ideas. But yeah, so early on.
Okay, so when does song selection come? When are you like, all right, this is what we're doing for Easter?
We don't finalize it until maybe a few months out with Pastor Brian. With our awesome pastor out at the beach.
Yep.
Month and a half or 2 months out. I mean, this year it may have been extra early because Easter was later. But we take our time kind of to get there. We kind of get there in a process.
Sure.
But we start pretty early.
Okay.
Thinking about it. A new song, because we're just singing familiar tunes. At least we want people to sing on Easter. So
course.
a lot of familiar stuff. If there's a brand new Easter song, we've started early, already talking about it, and then we'll teach it a month out.
Wow. Teach it as in sing it on the weekend.
That's right, on the weekend. And we did a Wickham song, I believe, this year.
Okay.
Early. The rest was all familiar stuff that we just love. So it's really selecting between 20 great songs.
Yeah.
That will fit the message, the heart, pastor's heart, the theme.
Sure.
The video, whatever we're doing.
So you are the worship leader out at Faith Beecher, and
right.
you work alongside Pastor Brian. He is
right.
the campus pastor. So tell me a little bit about how do you nail down those specific themes? Is that between you two? Does that come from someone else? And then for songs, do you talk to Pastor Brian about that, or do you talk to your team, your worship leader team, or how does that go?
It's probably all the above. We finalized the music with Pastor Brian for the location that we're at.
Okay.
I believe the pastors, this is kind of before it comes to me, they decide on a theme and a passage and a verse, so I'm really asking Brian. We have a central group of worship leaders, all the worship leaders at our locations. They're amazing. We talk about it months out. We're brainstorming songs. We get song ideas. Like you said, we're all a little different, all locations. So we really maybe focus on a core central element. This year it was a video. I know I'm jumping ahead here. But,
Yeah, no, you're good.
But then we just get ideas off each other.
Cool.
But yeah. Finalizing songs is usually with the campus director, the pastor, and then we go from there.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we have Ann with us.
Hello.
Welcome, Ann. Ann, tell them a little bit about your role.
Well, I kind of have a dual role. I work as the director for Faith Kids at Munster.
Okay.
But I also have a central role. My central role is editing the curriculum for preschool and nursery. So for me, preparation is happening, months before because we're prepping for months out. We have to have stuff there ready at the beginning of the month. So
Yeah.
our curriculum is already written for us. We use all the same curriculum. So we do like to, we definitely tweak it. But pretty much that's set in stone. So we don't have to really prepare too much for that. But I would say Easter season, we're talking Ash Wednesday, Good Friday, Easter, all of that, Palm Sunday. For us, Palm Sunday is, our big day for Faith Kids. That's
Why
when the
is that?
kids, the kids come in, we give them palm branches, we do a palm parade. We have the kids get up on the stage and sing and lead the congregation in worship. So for us, that's really our place where we encourage our kids to invite family, invite friends. And so you've got these people coming a week before Easter with the hopes that, hey, they're going to come back and celebrate Easter with us. So, but preparing, I would say we're probably, February-ish,
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're volunteer based. So we want to make sure between spring breaks and things like that, we have the amount of people there because there's a lot of visitors, and we want to make sure we have enough people around to welcome these new faces, especially kids, because they can get scared coming to a new place. So we've got to definitely have lots of hands, friendly faces to welcome their new faces to a new space. So
Wow.
yeah,
I'm a little bit biased, but I can confidently say Palm Sunday is one of the best Sundays from the entire year. I mean, what a
great fun.
picture of the church to see our faith kids leading us in worship. We can learn so much from them. So yeah, it's awesome.
it's the best.
It's so cool.
Definitely talk about unscripted, right?
Yeah,
You don't know what they're going to do up there.
Yes.
That's the best part
So
about
much
it,
fun.
right?
That's the best part.
I love to get to talk to the kids, to interact with them on Palm Sunday because you never know what's going to happen.
You never
you
know.
never
That's
know.
the
Great
joy
fun.
of
And
it.
that was new to me, serving in church over the years. I had not served at a church until Faith Church that has kid choir, palm branches,
Yeah,
Good Friday service. That was a bit new.
it's a blast.
Yeah, it's
Exciting.
fun.
It's great.
It's fun.
All right, so for this year, for Easter, what were the key challenges and the key goals? If you could sum it up, what would you say?
A challenge, I think, for a music director, at least at Faith, you have to ask the other ones, but we have a lot of music in a short period of time. We already mentioned Palm Sunday. It's a lot of great music, and there's a lot of unknown. For Beecher, we're also learning a new kids song because we want to do songs that the kids know. Then there's 3 Good Friday services, and then, the next day, for some of our locations, the next day, some had Saturday services. So probably there's a lot of music in a short period of time. Easter itself, because for Beecher, because we're doing a lot of familiar tunes, it just feels like a ramped up, awesome Sunday.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of music leading up to it. I was also down one of my key band members, but that was a great challenge for the next person up. So they did it great. But that's kind of a interesting challenge. There's a lot of music in that weekend. Probably the hardest part, maybe for me.
Wow.
Best part, it's great fun. Then you want to nap after, but there's a lot of music there in a quick succession. 3 Good Friday services, and then
Love it.
yeah.
What about from your perspective, Anne?
For the preparation part,
Yeah, what are some key challenges and goals that were specific to this year?
I think for us, we run on volunteers, and so we want to make sure we have enough people in their places and ready, like I said, ready to welcome those kids. I think for us too, as a church, though, space is an issue. So getting enough chairs in there, making sure we can welcome everybody that comes in, give them a place to sit down.
Yeah.
That's a huge challenge for us because it is literally chairs to almost the doors. So you're
That is a
like
massive
you pack them in
challenge.
there, yeah. So definitely space, making sure we have the chairs arranged correctly and making sure that people feel welcomed and give them a place to sit. and
Yeah,
worship.
making sure people, I would sum that up as kind of the main goal, making sure that people feel welcomed. I mean, we had a little over 7,000 people through all of our doors that
sure.
weekend alone. So to be able to make each individual person feel seen, feel known, feel cared for, feel loved by us, I mean, that's a great feat. That's no easy one either. That is, it's hard.
I
It's
think
difficult.
that is the key because we talk a lot about the preparations and things, but really the preparation starts in our heart, right? And the Lord was so gracious to give me a devotional at the beginning of kind of this Easter season. And it was this whole idea of Mary and Martha, and are we Mary, ready to meet with Jesus on Easter Sunday? Are we ready to give that Jesus to others,
Wow. Yeah.
Or are we going to be Marthas and running around preparing and stressing out,
Distracted. Yeah.
distracted and not seeing the people and missing Jesus in the moment? So that was a great preparation for me. This Easter was just to make sure my heart was in a right place and seeking Him in that season leading up to Easter. So I think that to me is what it's all about, right?
It's a good word.
I have a goal too.
Yeah,
You said goals as well.
Yeah.
A big goal. I really want to serve, of course, God and the team. I want to serve our pastor who's bringing the word that day. So the music is not some separate entity. It's not all my favorite Easter songs. I really want to capture the passage, what's his heart, where is he going, what's his thought. We talked about a song Resurrecting this year. It's one we've done many times, but did it fit? And it was perfect for the message. So a big goal is I want to do music that fits the message and fits what we're doing, the bigger picture. And then a big goal is congregational singing. I want
Let's talk a little bit about
visitors to hear us sing. I want our family to sing out.
Right.
So we may have one new element or a little bit because spice it up, but really we want them to sing.
Can you hear that as a worship leader? You have in-ears, right?
Yes.
So tell us, how does that whole system work?
Ooh, so Beecher, I don't know what other locations do. Beecher, we have a great tech guy, his name's Nick, and he has piped in, is that the right word? That's a technical term, a microphone that comes down from the ceiling and goes to the center.
Okay.
And that picks up the congregation. So one of our channels, we can hear the congregation
Wow.
sing. So we have in-ears. We have an in-ear monitor system. Everybody's got their own mix.
Where
you can mix
hearing
it.
Instruments.
That's right. You can decide. That's right. Everybody loves hearing the click.
The click.
Sometimes the congregation hears the click if somebody has it too loud. But anyway, that's always fun. So then we have a channel that's the congregation. So I like to crank that as much as I can. And now we can hear them. Now sometimes they're singing so loud, you hear it through your in-ears.
Praise God.
Which is the best. Seriously, even after playing music for years, I still get nervous.
Yeah.
I'm nervous for my team. I'm thinking of the whole picture. There's the tracks, there's the computer, there's instruments, is there a hook? What am I doing? Then when people start singing, it's like you forget all of that and you just worship. It's beautiful and relaxing. Dialing that in just right helps us hear them sing. Easter is because it's packed. We're growing. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
It's when you hear them sing, it's special.
Wow. So if you're a Faith Beecher, just know you're mic'd up.
You're mic'd up.
You're mic'd up. They're hearing you sing. So
you will sometimes hear somebody on that front row in between services talk about what they're eating for lunch.
Oh my goodness,
or
that's so funny.
I like to turn it down because there's things I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to know.
You just want to hear them sing.
I don't want to know people commenting on what I'm wearing. Anyway. So I turn it down and then back up.
I love that. That's so cool.
I think a goal for me is I definitely think of all the new people coming, and we obviously plan things for follow-up. We want to see these people come back, right? You want to see them feel welcome to the point where they would want to come back the next weekend and come see us again and be a part of our faith family. So, goaling, making sure we have fun run, and we have other things that for people to connect with after the fact. So after Easter, because sometimes that can be the grand finale.
Yeah,
and it's
kind
like,
of a
no, there's
high.
more.
Yeah.
There's more.
Yeah, yeah.
So being able to connect them with art music camp and fun run and capture those kids' attention to come back and want to be a part is definitely a goal for me. And so follow up, any new people, we want to make sure we're following up with, great to see you this weekend, or emails or text messages or however they want to be contacted. So for sure, follow up to get them come back.
What about, let's get a little deeper now, okay? Let us in. It's okay. From this Easter or past Easters, what are some challenges or maybe some surprises behind the scenes that you've experienced?
All Easters?
Any Easter. We're talking about any Easter service.
Personally or?
Personally.
Okay, well.
Yeah, let's get real.
This is a weird one. I don't usually wear a tie. But then sometimes on Easter I'll wear a tie.
Yep.
And then I hate it because, don't be offended, because then I realize because I'm not used to wearing ties, and I have a large Adam's apple. It feels really tight, and it's very hard. It's very hard to.
To sing.
I have a guitar on. It's hard. Well, I have lots of other great singers. I may have a song
Yeah.
that I'm lead, but it feels very restrictive. And I look back at the video, and I looked like I felt, which was a little
Stiff.
like the shirt's a little.
Yeah.
There's a little hiccup, and I realize I don't like wearing a tie on Easter because it feels.
No more ties on Easter.
No more
Scott.
ties. I'm sorry
Right
for
here.
people who love. I want to,
Take a stand.
but
No.
I wore a tie this Easter and
Can't be done.
felt, I should have taken it off.
Wow.
There's a weird one.
You should just.
There you
don't
go.
have ties.
There's an Easter.
I'm so thankful that you got vulnerable.
I'm
with us.
vulnerable.
Thank you.
I felt tied.
You felt
Okay.
tight. But I'm bummed.
All right, Anne, what about you? Any Easter fails, challenges?
I think the biggest
surprises?
one is, you didn't prepare enough maybe, and you're running, you're running, getting more copies, prepping more stuff for kids. You always have maybe somebody that got their schedule mixed up and forgot they were on that Sunday, so you're running up and you're finding somebody to come down and cover for them. So, but that's normal, as long as as long as the computers work, we're golden, everything else we can make work. So nothing that I can think of out of the ordinary. I might wake up in the morning and be like, I forgot to share that story, but
Yeah, that's
nothing right
okay.
now.
Let's bring it up a little bit. What was your favorite moment from Easter services this year? Anne, go ahead.
You looking at me?
I have one. You want to go first though? I'm going first too. I'd love to hear from you.
Well, let's see. I would say my biggest one was at the 11 o'clock service. I ran up just to, I was looking for somebody, and I walked in, and the entire it was just, I don't think there was a chair open in there. There was just a sea of people, and I was just like overwhelmed. I just was, it just, it was
Yeah.
just like, it was emotional. It was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, all these people here to meet with Jesus. What an awesome opportunity. So
Yeah.
I would say that one. I remember opening the door and I'm like, oh wow, there's chairs like right there and there's people in them, So
Wow.
I
That
was
emotional.
just blown away.
Yeah. And personally for you, I mean, you work there, you see that worship center all the time empty. You've seen it weekdays empty. You see, the normal crowd that you love.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's just such an emotional moment for you to experience.
Sure, when you walk in, you're like, oh my gosh, Rose, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. And then hearing everybody sing,
Yeah.
neat, very cool.
Well, that's my moment is people singing, but specifically, so we have great worship residents here.
Yeah.
We have two of them, Callie, Natalie. Shout out. Anyway,
Shout out.
so
They're
Natalie,
heroes, actually.
they're great.
Yeah, they're cool.
Natalie was with us for Easter, and so she had not led the song or sung it very much because he lives. So originally maybe I was going to have someone else lead that, but as we got closer, we made, because we're planners. But it doesn't mean we can't be flexible and follow the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So I wanted her, because she's got an amazing voice, I wanted her to sing it. Anyway, she learned it. We changed the key. It was a lot to that song. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
But then on Sunday, when she led it and everybody singing and three-part harmony, and because he lives, people out at Beecher, they just love that song. Even if we do a short part of it, like a half of it, we'll tag it on something, right?
Yeah.
That's a moment that it brings kind of tears to your eyes, hearing everybody just sing because he lives. So that's
Another thing we do, we have a Easter breakfast for all the volunteers at our ministry house. So that was a really neat thing to go over and just see just the amount of people that it takes to pull off a weekend. Is astronomical. I mean, you don't think about it, but there's so many different areas that we need people serving. And when I went over there to the ministry house, you just look around, you're like, oh my gosh, all these people are serving today. And to be able to bless them with some food and, because they get there early and it's a long day. So that was really neat too. That was really, just to be able to go and talk to people and bless them and thank them. And, but that's every Sunday. It's not just Easter. There's just requires a lot to pull off a Sunday, you know.
That's
There's
the heart of the church.
a lot of people.
I mean,
volunteers.
it's beautiful to be able to gather with all of those people and work
Sure.
towards one common goal. I mean, that has to be so fulfilling once you're
Oh, yeah.
finished.
And it is amazing. Like, the Lord is in charge of all of it because, you're talking, there's very few staff and mostly volunteers, and just to have it all work together in this
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful unison. It's just how the Lord just is amazing how he works on Sunday mornings. He really is.
Yeah.
It's like a harmony in music,
Wow, Scott.
Ooh,
Sounds like something a worship leader would say.
it's very sweet.
Yeah.
All right, let's transition to Faith Kids. So you do a lot of work with Faith Kids. What does Easter look like for them? It starts Palm Sunday, right? So then how does that work? What does that look like for them? What is your goal? What are you working towards?
Definitely working for getting family and friends to come that Palm Sunday, prepping the song that they're going to be singing. So we're starting a month and a half before, because we want all the kids to participate, but they're not always there every weekend. So you get them for an hour.
Yeah,
And
so little time.
And that's just such a small part of the morning is the worship. I mean, obviously worship is part, but we still have a Bible lesson to get through. We still have small group time to get through, prayer requests, memory verse. I mean, we do a lot in that little bit of an hour. So to take that time to prep the kids, to get them knowing the song so they can sing it and know it when they get up there. So that is definitely something for the Palm Sunday, prepping the song and making sure they're inviting their family and friends.
Yeah.
We want them to have their family and friends to come watch them sing and join in the joy of all of it. So, yeah.
So what grade ages is Faith Kids?
Well, we zero infant
Okay.
through 5th grade.
Okay.
So, and they're broken down nursery, pre-K, when they're not all together. We have different rooms. So, nursery, the littles, and then the pre-K ages, and then elementary ages, K through 5th. So, yeah, it's a lot of kids, a lot of different kids at a lot of different, stages. And to make that all blend on a Sunday morning to teach them the Word of God, to make that applicable to them but we use an amazing curriculum to make that happen. So, but you have to have trained leaders to carry that through,
Right.
So working with them too, and working with our volunteers and making sure they know what's going on a Sunday morning is key.
Sure.
There's a
Yeah.
couple of staff down there, but it's really the volunteers that are carrying it off. So we really need to communicate with them and let them know what's going on. And every child comes on a Sunday morning with a different issue. Sometimes you have separation anxiety. You have some that have had a tough morning at home, or they're tired, or you're dealing with all of that. So to be able to have everybody syncing on a Sunday morning, make that pull off but it works.
Yeah, of course it works. The Lord's involved.
Yeah.
I think that's the only
Lord's
reason it
involved.
works.
That's right.
Probably had 1,000 kids too on
Yeah.
on Easter with
It's
extra
a lot of kids.
Yeah,
It's a lot
it's
of
a
kids.
lot of kids. Something that stuck with me, someone said a long time ago, I heard it, was that the beauty of a kids ministry leader is that even if you're a volunteer, there's a chance that you are the person that is preaching the gospel to someone for the very first time
Very
ever.
first time.
They might hear it from your lips for the very first time. They might learn who this Jesus is, their creator, their maker, their father, their sustainer and provider and protector. You might be the very first one. So that's like the biggest, every time I hear you talk about Faith Kids, I always think about that possibility.
I literally had that happen about 3 weeks ago. I was in the pre-K room. I was teaching at that, and the new family was there visiting. I knew they were new visiting the church, but I didn't realize they were new to never being in a church before. So she asked me what the Bible lesson was, and I shared what it was, and she's like, what does that mean? And I was like, because you just think when people ask about what the Bible lesson is about, they're going to know what it means. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I've never read the Bible. I have no idea what it. And I was like, wow.
That's so cool.
And
that
you got to be the first.
We get to be the first.
Wow.
And those kids are hearing the Bible for that little girl is hearing about Bible stories for the very first time.
It's such a high
And her
calling.
families were hearing it for the first time too.
Wow.
And they came back.
Yeah.
And she participated in the Palm Sunday. So that was just
so great.
So neat.
It's so cool. I mean, it's juggling and it's crying and it's all the things, but it's
why
the
we do
good
it.
work. Yeah.
That's what we do it for,
Yeah.
right?
So cool.
What you said is probably true of me, as not as a kid, but as a teenager when I found Christ, visiting church and hearing it for the first time from volunteers and leaders.
Such a unique experience.
It is.
Nothing like it.
You have to have your heart prepared, for Sunday mornings so you can be receptive to people and where they're at, and allow the Lord to work in that, because there's that Holy Spirit that prompts you and listens, and
Yeah.
you get to be a part of that conversation with
Yeah.
people.
Just got to
It's
be
powerful.
aware of it. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about Faith Kids. What about outside of that? I know you serve at Faith Munster. So talk about maybe just like the setup, the prep. What does that look like?
Well, I am so grateful. We have amazing women, and we have a great team. Our worship leader and Pastor Charlie, and we work all very well together. So,
Yeah.
Even prepping for the photo wall, like
Yeah.
that was something. I don't know if I'm getting ahead of ourselves,
No, go ahead.
but that was something new this year. That was a kind of this lead up onto Easter. So having it set up and making it work and putting all the pieces together and communicating from a central location down to the multi-sites, as you know, takes time.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate you too, Allie, and all your work and all that you do. Beyond our team at Munster, we work with Central too. So
Yeah.
we're just a big family that has to work together, and communication's key. So
Yeah.
but I'd say that was one of the newer things of having that leading up to and trying to figure out, like, how do we want to make this work here this year? How are we going to use this to our advantage? And making sure that gets attended to on a Sunday morning, right? Because you need people. You need people. So we have amazing people in our congregation too. Everybody just steps up. So
Yeah, it's kind of a unique dance. So for those of you that don't know, so there's basically staff at every campus, and then there's also central staff that serves all of the campuses. So I'm on a team that is serving all of the other campuses. So that's what you're referring to.
Right.
We created a photo op, but we wanted them to be at every single campus. So then we work with everyone at all the locations to be able to share that, set it up, come up with the concept, all of those types of things. It really is a unique dance because we get to work together, and from a central side down to just being like campus staff down to leadership. I mean, we're all working towards the same goal. So it is really fun.
yeah.
Yep.
All right, Scott, let's dive deep into worship.
Okay.
What is that like for Easter? What's the flow? What are some of the main, like, big things that typically happen every Easter service?
Okay.
Tell me about that, the intentionality that goes behind the flow of the service.
It's a great question. How do I say it in a short period of time? Okay. Off the top of my head, the best that I could describe it as a long process of just ideas and thoughts and narrowing it all down to then it just makes sense. You know what it is. So just for example, it starts centrally maybe. There's a theme, stuff that some teams I'm a part of, some I'm not, right? The passage, the theme, everything I started with, Pastor Brian and I have already identified the date and thrown song ideas, and somewhere there's a passage. My guess is maybe the pastors get together.
I think it's the pastors.
So the pastors. So now there's a passage. So then, Pastor Brian and I meet every Thursday, and we're going through every service. We always do, the current service and and two ahead. Cool. So now, as Easter's approaching, 2 months out, as all those details are being finalized, I like how you put it as a dance.
Yeah.
As the dance steps are being created.
Yeah.
Pastor Brian and I are a part of some of those meetings. Now it's becoming clearer. We have lots of ideas and possibilities. It doesn't feel really tough because we're always sort of thinking about it.
Yeah, it's pretty fluid still.
We're narrowing it down, and it just makes sense. So now, 2 months out, we know a little bit more. We finalize this. We take these 3 songs. Actually, we're going to use this one for Palm Sunday. We just move it around. There's an in-plant, we use this online program called Planning Center. All of our musicians use this, even Faith Kids and Faith Students, all kinds of departments.
Tech,
so all of our music is in this really cool online program. It's on your phone. The band can listen to it. So they've already seen 2 months out my 85 song ideas. I make a portion in Planning Center that says song ideas. Well, that's an exaggeration. Only by about 10 songs.
Oh my goodness.
That's too many. Maybe there's 25. Anyway, I'll put, classic Easter songs that we love.
Yeah.
Because we're singing about Jesus all the time.
Right.
It's a little bit easier to pick songs for Easter than it is like maybe for stewardship, but so we're singing all the Jesus songs.
Right.
So I'll put them in the list, And we're cutting them out and moving them around. And so every Thursday meeting, Pastor Brian and I, even months out, are looking at Easter. We're looking at the songs for Palm Sunday. What are we singing for Faith Kids? So we're not going to use this song because we do it for Faith Kids. Like I had one, Glorious Day. The kids have done Glorious Day.
Yeah.
But we used it for Easter because we didn't do it for Palm Sunday. And so songs for many. We used "Oh Praise the Name." We opened with "Oh Praise the Name" this year. For example, we hadn't done that one on Easter in a while because it used to be every Death Was Arrested. We loved that song for Easter, but we did it the last 2 years. We'll look at past Easter services.
Yeah.
So this is months out. So by the time we get to the central elements get finalized, all that, we get to month out, we feel pretty confident. We know what it is. This year, an element we did all together as a collective of worship leaders was a video.
Yeah, an opening video.
An opening video. So that video, we knew, I don't know, maybe a month out.
Yeah.
Longer, but we finalized it maybe a month out. So then we knew how we were going to adjust our order of service of songs.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? We try to
so
keep it
cool.
simple on Easter, very familiar and similar to what we already do.
Yeah.
There's not like with a few extra elements, maybe an
Right.
extra song,
Right.
familiar tunes. It feels very normal.
Yeah.
The harder part is there's a lot of music for, like I already mentioned, for the weekend. But yeah, it's
Right.
great. It's fun. It feels very fun and exciting to plan Easter. You know, it's like our Super Bowl with like
Feels like a
Christmas.
Super Bowl.
It
Yeah.
feels a little. Christmas is harder sometimes because you're only singing those songs one season, right? 1 month or two.
Yeah.
Easter, a lot of those songs we're singing all year.
Yeah.
And then there's a new something.
Right.
It's
So
yeah.
we typically like to do some type of unifying element like
Yep.
a testimony or the video, like the opening video that you're talking about. And then what are some other pillars? I know we try to hit on at least one pretty traditional, if not a hymn,
That's
but
right.
something that's very traditional. What are the other pillars
Well,
maybe that we try to
that's a good question.
land on?
I'm not sure. What pillars? I mean, we want the gospel, you know.
Yeah,
we
the
we talk
gospel,
about
the
Jesus, the
resurrection,
resurrection.
mentioned.
Yeah, the passage.
Absolutely.
It really just it feels very much like a regular service. All the core basics, congregational singing.
Yeah, maybe
people to
invite
sing.
people to the following
Yes,
series.
we like to talk. I was about to say that we like to talk about. We had anxiety was coming up right after that, so we always throw that in there.
Right.
Yeah, it's great.
So cool.
Yeah.
Make sure we're offering prayer for people if they need it.
Of course. Those are like the main, those are the bones, right?
Yeah, and
then
we
can build off
we
of.
pray a lot leading up.
Right.
A favorite part is praying with the other worship leaders because
Yeah.
again we're preparing for Palm Sunday, and Good Friday together. So as we're preparing for those, we're praying a lot together, that team, and talking about. It's more like what are you doing for Easter, and we're brainstorming. But yeah,
Yeah. So cool. All right. Let's do some rapid fire.
Ooh.
You guys
all right.
ready?
Ready.
All right. Here we go. Favorite worship song this Easter, Scott?
it would be Because He Lives. that we
Okay.
did.
And?
Oh, happy day. We did. So
Ooh.
fun.
Okay.
Blast.
Most unexpected moment, Scott.
My tie situation.
Okay. Good one. And?
I think it was just the amount of people. I was blown away by the amount of people that were at church.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So cool.
Yeah.
All right. One word to describe Easter at Faith this year.
Sweet.
Aw.
Joyful.
Okay. Love it. Finally, something you'd love to do next Easter.
Right after, as you said, rapid fire. This is too long for rapid fire.
That's okay. That's our last one.
Right after Easter, a family had visited, hadn't seen in a while, and one of them mentioned this other song called "Sunday's Coming."
Oh, yeah.
You know that song? Yeah. So I'd heard it a while back when it came out.
Okay.
But then I went home and listened to it again, and I thought, we have to do this. I'm
good
already
wake-up
planning that maybe for next Easter.
you
It
know
is
that
beautiful.
Do you know Highland did it?
I do. Natalie, I mentioned this to Natalie, and she said that Highland has a video and everything. So I've already got notes
Cool.
for next Easter.
It's a good Wickham song.
Yes.
Yeah, really cool. And
Yeah, I think it's just something that kids can take home with them. Something that would be, the gospel, something that, especially if they've never heard it before, just something that they can take home with. They have their craft and things that we do, but I was thinking something more, who Jesus is and something giving them the gospel, giving them salvation,
Yeah.
taking something home with them like that.
That's really cool. Great idea. Well, thank you so much for joining us for More Than a Sunday Easter behind the scenes at Faith Church. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Anne, for joining me in this
Thank you,
conversation.
Allie.
This was awesome. We are going to close out with one final question. We're going to leave it right here. Ready? Why is this all worth it? Go ahead, Scott. What is your answer?
Hearing everybody like Revelation, all tribes, all nations, all languages, just singing praise it's what we're going to be doing for eternity.
Love it. And
It's all about Jesus. It's
Yeah.
why we do what we do, right? It's about eternal life.
wow. Thank you for this conversation. Thank you for your wisdom and your hard work. Well done. Oh my goodness. So many people were impacted at Easter. I'm so thankful for you guys. I'm thankful to just be able to do ministry side by side with you too.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on More Than a Sunday.